Hi everyone, welcome to the Whimsical Landscape Recycled Collage class. Super excited that you're joining us. My name is Shelly. I'm an artist, arts educator, mom, and a local East Mountain person. So, hi. Thank you so much to the Route 66 Arts Alliance, to the town of Edgewood, and to the Moriarty Edgewood School Districts for helping us film these videos and getting the materials out to you. We're super excited that you're joining us and so glad we have such a great community here in the East Mountains. So let's get started. First, we're going to go over our materials. So since it's a recycled collage class, we did put some papers and some fabric for you in your material bag, so go ahead and get those. And some scissors. I have my biggies, but maybe you have the smaller one. Glue stick. Here's some of the cool papers. I also grabbed like things from my recycle bin, a little piece of cardboard. If you have any magazines laying around, I went ahead and found some patterns, collage materials that I like. And so I just do that before, instead of having the big magazine here, I kind of rip out the one I like, cut it out, and so I keep these in little piles. And then also some markers and just some other fun things that you might want to glue down. I have my huge collection of these pop tops, and just think about what's going to work for using the glue stick. So it's good, for gluing some things, but nothing too heavy because of course that's not going to stick. And so if you want to go get those materials and join me back. And also, we're going to need paper, of course. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some thumbnail sketches. And we're going to use some just scrap paper. It doesn't really matter as long as it has a clear surface. And then also we're going to be building our collage on our nicer pieces of paper. I think we've got 5 of them. So you can grab one of the thicker paper where we're going to be building our collage. So the first thing is I didn't mention a pencil. If you have a pencil, or you can do it with marker. We're going to be doing thumbnail sketches. And so thumbnail sketches are little tiny, small sketches that just help us sort out our ideas and create our composition. So think about, and since this is a landscape class, think about maybe you have a landscape right out your window you want to look at. Maybe you want to go take a peek outside, bring your thumbnail sketch paper with you. Maybe you want to flip through a magazine, or you would just want to, since it's whimsical, I just kind of made mine up in my head. As you can see, this one over here is, it's a rainstorm over the mountains, and it's sunny, and there is a rainbow, which sometimes happens, especially during this time of year in the mountains. So just that now you're starting to think about what is your composition going to be. Is it going to be trees, mountains, a cactus? And then just create on your page. So we talked about this in one of the last classes, which is there is the portrait style composition or the landscape. So maybe if you're doing mountains, you want to do it this long way, the horizontal way, but really you can do mountains also portrait. It'll make them look more stacked up, kind of like how I did here. This is the portrait format. So when you're doing your thumbnail sketches, you can sketch out maybe a portrait style and a landscape, and then I'll try another landscape. And then when you're doing your thumbnail sketch, you can think about what's going to be in the foreground, what's going to be in the background. And so you don't need to spend a lot of time laying out your composition. It's generally just like if you were going to squint your eyes at your landscape, what are the big shapes? So just sketching in some big shapes. Are there going to be flowers in the front? You could put an animal in it. Is there an animal somewhere? And so these little sketches are just sorting out your ideas. So if you want to pause the video and take some time just to make some sketches. Just take about a minute or 2 for each composition and then meet me back. So welcome back. Hopefully you had some fun making some sketches. And now we're going to think about adding color. And then also think about while you're adding color. So here you can see this was kind of like my first sketch, and then I brought them to some larger sizes. So you can continue to develop your composition before we start collaging. Honestly, sometimes I just jump right into the collage. So it's really up to you. And what was I gonna say? Okay, so the color here is, you can start to lay color out or look at the supplies that you've collected and think about like, maybe I'm gonna cut this into my tree shape. This could easily be cut into a tree shape and laid right on the page. So looking at what materials you have and what are you gonna turn those into within your composition. So that's one thing I really love about the mixed media is that the medium, the little things that you've picked out, determine what's gonna be happening in your composition, in your artwork. So that's really fun, that intersection of using what you have and how you're going to interpret it onto your piece of art. So yeah, if you want to think about the color, if you want to pause and put some marker over your thumbnail sketch like I did here, this is going to be some little clover flowers. I was looking out my window for this one. There's some clover flowers, there's some juniper trees, cedar trees. There's actually not a mountain out that view, but I added the mountain because I wanted to put that in there. And so yeah, just think about how these things are going to layer together, foreground, middle ground, background. And also keep in mind, like here, the depth of space is it's really almost flat. It's more graphic. And that's one thing is we can think about, but you can still tell that the rainbow is behind the mountain, the sun is behind the cloud, and whatever these little things are, I'm not sure if they're cars or the trail. These are flowers, I know that, but these things are in the foreground. So yeah, let's get started now on building onto our paper. So get your thicker piece of paper when you're ready and decide which way you're gonna put it. And we're gonna start working from the background forward. So what's in the background is, for me, it's the sky. So maybe you wanna pick out what you wanna have for your sky. I found this in the newspaper and I thought it'd be a super fun sky. So, and then as you can see too in this one, I cut, same thing, a big piece of paper out from a magazine, and that kind of defined the edges. So I am going to create, and this is not something that you have to do. Again, this is your piece of art, so you make it how you want. And yeah, I move between using my scissors and tearing for my hands. So actually that's what I'm gonna do here is rip this, and this is going to define the sky. And just a reminder, once you use your glue stick, which actually, make sure you put plenty of glue on and go to the edges, especially for big pieces. And then I will do a big X in the middle too, just to make sure it's gonna stick. And then put your cap on. It's a good habit to get into. And then you're just gonna smooth down. So if you're following along with me and you're making a sky, we got the sky. I'm gonna put a mountain next. So it's really gonna be fun to see how it transforms. So I'm gonna cut a mountain shape here and then lay the mountain down because that's what in my sketch is kind of the next thing. So I had my sky in the background and then I'm gonna make a mountain shape. So let's see, I'm gonna make it like a magical mountain. And if you have smaller pieces of paper, so let's just pretend, because I think your pieces might be smaller, that's fine. You can see this piece of paper, you can turn this into a longer piece by cutting it into strips and joining it together. But you can use it however you want, but don't think just because you have a rectangle, it has to stay like a rectangle. You could cut this into a circle. That's the fun thing about being an artist is you're super resourceful and creative, and basically you can do whatever you want when you're making your art. So yeah, then I'm going to glue this down. Again, now this is on watercolor paper, so it's a lot thicker than the newspaper, so you can see I like really glued it up, put lots of glue on it. And the one thing I like about collage, there's a lot of things I like about collage, are that you can a lot of times see the process of it. So you're gonna see this little scene here, and I think that's cool. Because it's all about like layering. And yeah, save like this. There was a person who was cleaning out their studio and they had watercolor paintings, like hundreds of them, and they didn't want them anymore, so they gave them to me. And now I use them and share them with other people to create my own collages. And so if you have artwork coming out of your earlobes from school or from wherever, yeah, save the ones that are really special to you, but you can always recycle them. And here's our little magic mountain. So what's next is I'm gonna put a little bit of a kind of the middle ground. So we're moving from the background to the middle ground. So I found this little guy in the newspaper. I'm gonna rip this one. And this has elements of landscape in it. So I'm sort of still building out the mountain, bringing the mountain to kind of like the ground where and I'm making this kind of scene up. I'm going between reality and in my imagination. And again, fun thing about being an artist, you can do that. So, and also, like I just put this little piece of paper down. I don't want that one there. And so it's sometimes nice to not glue it down right away. We're still kind of figuring out where we want things. Yeah, so I like that better. And I'll show it to you in just a second. I'm going to glue. And yeah, you're just having fun and don't take it too seriously. It's a piece of art. And cool thing about collage and a lot of other art forms is you can change it. You can collage over it. And now I built the middle ground. So I have my markers here. I'm going to just fill in the bottom because I want to get to I'm really excited about putting the trees down. So I'm going to just make this foreground, just fill it in. And as you can see, I'm creating a frame around it, a border. I'm keeping the white around it, so it's like not going to the edges. That's not something that you have to do, but it's something you could consider. So there's my foreground, and then this is the part I've been waiting for, super excited about, is going to be my trees. Maybe this, I think this. And so, since the trees, or whatever it is that you're making now, is going to be in the foreground, I want it to be bold, I want to stand out, and so, and again, this is this piece, but I'm gonna cut it into a bunch of different shapes and start laying it on my page, on my composition. And just play around, lay it out, wherever part you're working on in your piece. You can just try it out while you're building it before gluing it down. So let's see. I think that might be good. I'll put one more little branch. It's fun to think about too, what happens when you have something coming off the composition. And since I left this, I'm just gonna leave that. You have the border, but you can extend past the border. So again, super fun art, making all your own decisions. Super fun. And look at, there's watercolor on both sides of this paper. Super bonus. Oops, I wanted to see that star, so I'm just gonna see. You can glue it down and then just move it before it really gets stuck down. Do you know any famous collage artists? Have you heard of Romare Bearden? He's one of my favorite artists. Really super collage. Did amazing stuff with cutting stuff out from magazines and pictures. He made people. So yeah, if you want to add an animal or a person in your landscape. Okay, and then I'm going to cut one more tree, but I'm going to cut it all out of one piece. So if you're going to do something big out of one piece, maybe look in a magazine, newspaper. So this is going to be one fun tree. what other collage artists? I like Matisse. So, do you guys know Matisse? He did a lot of painting, but he also started to do collages, figures, rooms, animals, very whimsical. And so yeah, a thing about whimsical, being whimsical is like, it's like magic, it's fun. Ooh, the fabric. This is from Sandra at the Arts Alliance. Thank you. Amazing. Thank you for donating the fabric. So this, for the fabric, I'm just went for it and I'm putting the glue right on my page. So I don't work with fabric too much, but it's awesome, and I think I'm gonna start working with it more now that I have some donations of fabric. And so this is my canopy right here. So I'll let you take a peek. And we're almost finished, but you can see I'm filling in the canopy, which is up at the top of my composition. So one more little thing up here, and then you know what? I'm gonna sign this piece because I like to sign my piece, and if you wanna put the date on it too, to remember this time. And I'm gonna snip. Oops. A little more glue. Maybe you have a title for your piece. Okay, and then I'm just going to put my glue away and just finish this little border down here. And then I'm gonna sign it. I go by Shelly, my name is Michelle also, and NEK, that's how I sign it. And then I'll put the date, which is the 18th. Okay, and so here is my collage. And as you can see from the thumbnail sketch, doesn't have to be exact. I didn't put my, these are the clover flowers that are outside my window that the bees love. I'm gonna do that. I'll just do that later. So yeah, if you wanna finish your piece right now, you can go ahead and do that. You can save it for later. Come back to it. Like I'm gonna come back to it after I take a break and put some flowers down here. So yeah, don't feel like you have to finish it right now. Take your time, it's your piece of art. And I wanna thank you so much for joining us today. I would love to see your art. The community would love to see your art. So please, if you can, take a photo or have someone take a photo for you and visit our Facebook page at Route 66 Arts Alliance Facebook. Come check out the page and please post your art there. We would love to see it. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time.